because there's something called market dilution. And Gacha is now going through a period of Gacha dilution, right? I think everyone can agree with this. Hoyo with the infinite money shit. Yes, sir. Bro, it's the most... I'ma tell you, Gacha... How can I explain you? There's a theory. I think I can find the image to show y'all. There's a theory about gaming cycles. Let me show you. Gaming genre cycles. There's an image for it. Where is it? Fuck. Okay, I won't find the one that I want to. Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to find that image. But it's basically like this. Let me open Paint so I can demonstrate to you. Basically, every couple of years, right? Every couple of years, around 4 to 4 years. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. There's always a new cycle of games, a new cycle of genre, right? Years. John. What was that? John Ross. Right? We could argue that here. Actually, let me change that. So let's start at 2008. Right? 208. Probably 204, actually. Actually, 206. 206. And then 210. Whoops. Wrong. Yeah, 210. 210. 214. 218. 222. 226. Right? And here was MMO. And here was, what was it? From 2010 to 2014, MOBAs, probably. Here, Battle Royale. Battle Royale. Right? And here, we're probably gaming as a service. Right? And this next one is called Gacha, right? So this is the genres of gaming and the years, and around 4 years, there's always a new genre that's going to pop off, right? I think we all can agree with that. MMOs have their time to shine around the WoW era, right? Here was the LOL era, right? Here was Fortnite. Here, I don't really think if I can point out a game. I don't know which game it was. Right? And this time was Genshin. Right? So now every company wants to capitalize in a specific genre, right? The one that's popping off, the one that has more interest, the one that has the biggest investment, the biggest return to investment, right? So you have to spend less, oops, hold on, that was shitty. Spend less, make more money. Right? So this is how it works, basically. I'm probably missing a genre or two. The fact that this isn't a fucking line doesn't matter as well. But this is how it works. So the gaming sphere, gaming as a whole, works in cycles, right? Works in cycles. So we had the MMO genre before social medias were huge. After that, we started going to MOBAs. So we started migrating to esports, right? Esports. I think we all can agree with that, right? After this, we went into a higher action, short matches. Right? After that, we went into, again, we moved from hardcore to casual gaming, right? We got the concept of action. We started with living life in gaming, right? We could argue that MMOs were live in gaming. Life in gaming. From this, we lost it to social media, right? Social media killed the MMOs. So we migrated into hardcore gaming, only for the top of the top, only for the ones that truly are skilled and that are willing to grind and to learn everything and to min max. That love to min max. Then gaming changed from a casual thing that most people did because it was the only way to connect with people from the outside world, right? Since we didn't have a huge boom with Facebook, Skype, and all of that shit. And then gaming became a niche, started being for hardcore players. Hardcore. Right? I think we all can agree with that. Sure. After that, people noticed that MOBAs were way too long and kind of still, not fast paced enough, especially for the newer generation who were all about having constant neural activation, right? So always something happening all the time. MOBA has a lot of downtime before the fights, the team fights, the big objectives conquest. So the Baron, the Dragon, taking a tower, destroying the Nexus, and team fights. So the MOBAs had the problem. The problem was down time, right? Because of this, we migrated into action and short matches. Because then we created neuron activation. Can we agree with that? Neuron activation. Right? Battle Royales were one of the best genres to have constant things getting your attention, and you had to be always active, always paying attention to everything. MOBAs, you had the quote-unquote advantage of having downtime, so there were moments that you didn't have to pay as much attention and be as dedicated unless you were in the top of the top. So Battle Royales gained the spots on MOBAs because it was shorter matches with more players, no need for teammates, and a bigger and faster neuron activation, right? After this happened, the casuals started playing Battle Royale, and they noticed they weren't as good as their favorite streamers. They weren't as good as Ninja, they weren't as good as Myth, they weren't as good as SQC, neither of them. So we decided to go into casual gaming. So we're talking and casual gaming as a server. So Overwatch, right? A game that has competitive, but the biggest fan base is ultra casual. Just want a place to have fun. Plays a few matches. Some doesn't even play rank. Just played normal mode, and that carried gaming as a service as a whole. There's other games who branded gaming as a service who were the bigger titles on gaming as a service, but Overwatch is a great example. After that, people wanted something that didn't necessarily have PvP having the competing aspect, right? They wanted to play a chill game to relax because we've been, if you notice, 1, 2, 3 cycles. 3 cycles. Hold on, let me do it like this. So we have we had 3 cycles of constant competition, PvP. Can we agree? Can we agree? We had 3 cycles of constant competition, PvP. So what was the obvious tendency? What is the opposite of competition and PvP? Simple. We go into story-based single-player games, right? Can you agree with me? Somewhere here between gaming as a service and gacha, because I chose a number randomly, right? You could argue that gaming as a service and battle royale are kind of one of the same, just a more casual version. And here in between, we had Souls-like, right? The problem with Souls-like is that it is a single-player game that doesn't have competition, but it's still way too hard. Way too hard, right? And since Twitch and streaming in general and gaming in general was at a peak because of COVID, normal people that wanted to game but didn't want to compete, didn't want PvP, but they wanted to have fun, they wanted to take part in gaming, they decided to migrate into story-based single-player games, which are the most casual there is, right? There's nothing more casual than a gacha. Why? Because it's a story-based single-player game, that is also gaming as a service, right? But the model doesn't inherently has competition. Can you agree with me? So the question is, what's coming here? What will be the next genre to blow up? That's what everyone's wondering, even the creators, even the CCs, right? Because whoever discovers which one is going to be this big is going to be the biggest creator, right? Biggest creator, right? So that's why now there's a bunch of people joining gacha content creation. Me as an example, because gacha will be the next big genre. It already is, let's be honest. There's new gachas releasing, 2 to 3 AAA gachas releasing every year, right? This year, we had wuwa and we had ZZZ. There was probably other one that I just can't remember, but at least there were these 2, right? Can we agree? There was no peak, but it flopped, right? Snow Break, but it flopped and became Snow Peak. There was TOF a couple years ago, right, on 2021, but it flopped as well. And it was also trying to revamp the MMO concept. There's also a lot of people trying to believe that this is actually a cycle, right? And they believe that eventually we're going to come back to here. The problem is social media dictates not only which genre will be the famous one, right? Because of Twitch, because of YouTube, because of Twitter, all of that, but it also blocks the cycle from happening. Because MMOs demand so much time, they are also competitive in a way, or at least have competitive elements, right? And there is no tech. The tech is also a problem that breaks the cycle. Do y'all agree with me? So now, from the next 2 years to 2024, all the way to 2026, right? Here's probably 2024. 2024 to 2026. Actually, from 2022 to 2026, it's the gacha period, right? Do y'all agree with me? This is called the gacha period, where every smart developer is trying to implement gacha one way or another inside their game. How, you ask? And why isn't this only Asian, Pepe? It's simple. Why it isn't only Asian? Because of a big Western game that makes millions a month, and it is the most casual friendly game, but it has pay to win on it and PvP. You know which one it is? Is this one. I think you guys probably won't be able to guess. Can y'all guess already? With the F and the I? No? No guesses? Nah. Fire Emblem. Come on, dude. No. It's a Western gacha. Western. So I'm talking American and European, no, not Asian. Fire Emblem is Asian. Do you know which one it is? Let me show you. You're gonna get it. F-I-F. What's the next letter? It's only 4 letters. No idea? It's this one. FIFA. Have you guys ever played FIFA? Nice, Jewel. FIFA. Do you know why? It's a PvP game, right? Has gacha. And has a huge casual. Oops. Sorry. Casual fan base. Whoops. And it's Western. Right? And not only that, but they also have yearly resets. A thing that and no other gacha has. Yearly resets. Which is super predatory. Right? I don't play FIFA as well. Listen, I played FIFA whenever I was a kid, so we're talking 10 years ago, 12 years ago, right? But I don't play FIFA anymore because I want to play games for things that I can't experience in real life. If I want to play FIFA, I go down here on my condo and go play football on a fucking football place. What's the name of it in English? On a fucking... It's not a board, it's a camp, whatever. How's the board in English? Doesn't matter. Field, thank you. Into a football field, right? And I'm talking soccer. Football, I meaning soccer, right? Because I'm South American. I'm not from the US, so football for me means soccer, right? This is going to, guess what? Ease in Western players into the gacha monetization, right? So this right here. Whoops. Okay, that was too much. Ease in players, Western players into gacha monetization. Right? Do y'all agree with me? This is the reason why gacha is going to prevail and is going to get bigger in the next few years. It's all because of FIFA. Right? Because you know what EA is going to do? They're going to turn the gacha monetization on FIFA on NBA. Right? Which has another name. On NFL. And on all their other sports games. Right? Do you want me to give you another example? It is an Asia game, but it's focused to a Western player base. You know why? You know which one? The first descendant. You know why? Because they found a middle ground. A middle ground. Why? Because the gacha is in the farming, not in spending money. Because whenever you buy a character, you buy a guaranteed character, but the gacha is present on obtaining the character as a free to play, and they will probably eventually create a gacha version of a game like the first Descendant 2. Right? It just doesn't exist. Hi, Mary. How you doing? How was your day today? By the way, hi, Jewel, as well. How are you doing, too? How's your day going? Let me see now what you guys talked about all of this that I said. Sorry for the big yapping session. Let me see. I can't remember what GSR got the first month, but it was crazy, I think. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at it. Just like cell phone companies, the market is saturated where almost everyone has a phone now, so they will have the ability to steal customers and sell new customers. Exactly. Do you know why? Because mobile games. Hold on, I'm gonna have to write this one because this is gonna be too good. Because mobile phones are getting more powerful. Really more powerful, right? Can we agree with this? There are phones now that can do RTX, that can do reflection calculations in real fucking time with the fucking ARM architecture, right? That's one of the reasons which ARM is getting huge development and investment into it, and why x86 and x64 is getting lower and lower in their progression cycles, right? That's why they're getting less and less advances in every version that they get. That's why people are using cheat techniques to advance it. For example, AMD uses a stacking solution to be able to pack more power into the same package. How? They pack one chipset above the other to be able to have more power. Intel, on the other side, is using ARM-like technology to also improve the efficiency of the chips. How? They use the logic of power core and efficiency core, which is the same that has on ARMs, exactly on your phones, which have big cores to be able to do complex 3D calculations and heavy loads, and efficiency cores who are able to deal with day-to-day basic features and basic knowledge. Intel is using ARM to advance their chips on x86. Why? Because there's no incentive to purely invest in x86. Investing on that solution allows them to advance in both eventually an ARM solution and also their x86 solution. And not only mobile phones are getting more powerful, the fact that games are also developed to mobiles and are free to play, you know what that allows them to touch in a huge gaming market that has been put aside for years and years. Do you know which one it is? And it's one of the biggest markets, but they are rarely taken into considerations. You know which one we're talking? India, China, Southeast Asia, South America. All of these places, all of these places are finally having a chance, an equal ground to play those games. Do you know why? Because in South America, to buy a console, do you know how much I have to spend? I have to spend 4 to 5 months of basic income. So if I want to buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, I have to spend 4 or 5 months of my salary if I have a normal salary, the base salary, the lowest salary that the country allows me to have, right? Which isn't a problem on America and Europe, right? Which isn't a problem in Japan, which isn't a problem in South Korea. But it is a problem in India, it is a problem in China, it is a problem in Southeast Asia, and especially, because I have a life experience in this, it's especially a problem in South America. So now we're talking Brazil alone has 200 million people that live in Brazil, and not only has 200 million, they're all young, right? They all need things to do, right? Because we can't, like Americans, go spend money to go into a club and have a half period job, right? A 4 hour per day work and be able to pay for clubs, right? Be able to pay for clothing, expensive clothing, be able to pay rent, and invest in tech. Can we agree on that? Right? So that's why the free-to-play model is king. Right? Can we agree on that? Whoops. And this is why the free-to-play is king. Because it unlocks a whole new player base that you had never seen before. Do you want me to prove it to you? It's simple. Do you guys know Pirate Software? The biggest creator in game development on Twitch. The guy has 5 digits of viewer every single day, and he streams at the Dijon hours in the US in English. And do you know which country buys his game the most? That represents 20% of it. Whoops. That represents 20% of his income. A single country represents 20% of Pirate Software income. An indie studio. Do you know which one? Brazil. You know why? Because the game here costs the equivalent to around $10. So it's cheap enough. And if you ask Pirate Software himself, I have seen him talk about this a lot of times. Do you know who creates more content surrounding his game? Brazil. Brazil is the country that makes more fan art, more gaming content surrounding the game, all of this. So these countries, as y'all know, are going to become a huge nuclear, as Poke would say, a nuclear advancement in gaming as a whole. Do you want me to explain you why? Sure. Mr. Poke lives in Singapore, right? And he makes money in dollar because of Twitch. Do we agree? Do you know how efficient he can be by gaining money in dollar and living in Singapore? How much more that money it's useful. It can work for him by living in Singapore. At least twice more than he was living in the US. Same thing for me, right? $1 here is around 5 of my local currency, 5 of Brazilian reals, which means it allows me to have a multiplicative of not actually 5, because things here are also expensive, but at least 3 times more efficient, which means it will allow a lot of creators to have a smaller fan base, so lower viewer base, lower following, and be even more niche, and will allow them to still be successful and make it as a living. So all of this lines up with what? If you ask me, which gaming genre is predominant on mobile phones, are free to play, and are absurdly played on these countries. Do you know which ones? It's pretty easy. We talked about them a lot today. It's the gachas. Right? Because the gachas have content non-stop. Let's be honest. Content drop 1 time every 6 weeks was imaginable when we were in the 2006 eras with MMOs, which usually would take 3 years to have a new content drop, right? So the efficiency on both the creator side, the consumer side, and the enterprise, which are the companies, the game developers, are all hugely increased when we're talking gacha. And this next genre here this one that is coming up from 2026 to 2028 and is going to be huge, is either going to take advantage of mobile gaming on 2 ways. Either phones will get powerful enough to be able to handle what we now call AAA, right? So have a capacity to deal with PS4-ish games to PS5-ish games. Or we're going to use something called the cloud to be able to game always. Let me ask you, why is MiHoyo investing in that Genshin cloud, MiHoyo cloud service? Do you think it's why people have such a bad phone that can't even run Genshin? No. Because I can tell you why. I live in South America. There are super cheap phones that are able to run Genshin. Why? Because they have shitty cameras, shitty screens, shitty everything else, but they pack a good processor to be able to handle those games. Those phones are designed specifically into that audience. So it isn't because the phones are weak. You know why? They are trying to prepare in case the tech doesn't get good enough for the next genre and the next big breakout into gaming. If phones aren't able, because phones now will always be included into a huge game development cycle. Always will. Always will. Always. Have you guys heard of Throne and Liberty? Huge MMO that was going to launch in Korea. Unfortunately, it backfired. Now it's going to come into the West. And what was the game being developed for? PCs, consoles, and phones. Lost Ark, a huge MMO in Korea, launched globally because of Amazon. And now, what is Smilegate developing? Lost Ark mobile. So the next big breakout in gaming and genre as a whole is obligatory going to include mobile gaming, either through phones getting stronger or using cloud. And then you, instead of paying the battle pass, you use that money to pay for a cloud machine to play the game. And then your phone is just a display and an input machine, and the cloud process all of that information. Right? What do you guys think? Let me read it all because I'm kind of behind. FIFA, blah, yuck. They roll for players as far as I'm aware. Exactly, Joel. And the players have stats, and the better the stats of the players allow them to simply perform better. I've never stooped to FIFA. I know. My brother plays, and he's the type of dude who never touch Eastern gachas. Exactly, Joel. I have a shitload of friends. Because none of my friends play gacha. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm alone in that. I don't have a single friend that is going to touch gacha as of now. And I also don't have a lot of weeb friends. It's also a shame, unfortunately, because I'm a huge weeb myself, but I don't have a lot of weebs, neither gacha gamers on my friend group. But you know what all of them play? They all play FIFA. And they all pay for FIFA characters. And FIFA resets yearly. So into the next year, your characters are worth nothing. Nada. Zero. Right? That's the difference. And gacha at least allows you to have the character for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, who knows, until it goes end of service, until it isn't profitable anymore, right? Do you want me to give you another example? Sure. On Korea, FIFA with the yearly resets doesn't happen. Do you know why? Because in Korea, the customer was able to have their voice listened, and in Korea only they have something called FIFA Online. And you know what's the difference? FIFA Online does not have yearly resets. Why this doesn't go worldwide? Why doesn't this go global? Because the Western audience still hasn't learned that this exists. The casual FIFA players don't know that this exists in Korea. They have no idea, right? So since FIFA is basically the only option that they have to play football games, they have to swallow it, whether they like it or not, because there's no competition, right? Let me see what else you guys were talking about. Imagine Genshin yearly resetting. Exactly, it would revolt the Chinese player base. They would literally kill the way. Just like they tried to kill the way for much less. They tried to kill the way because they literally gave the global audience a fucking feminine character, a bunny suit only to global and not to China. And they tried to kill the way. Now imagine if they said Genshin is going to get a yearly reset. Imagine. Do you know how gachas do this? They did it with Honkai Impact 3rd. Right? What did they do? They did something called Part 2. Right? Because Part 2 changes completely how the game is played, including the characters. And they are easing the old player base into the Part 2. How? There's a character I've listened veterans from HI3 say it themselves. There's a character, which was the first banner on part 2, which is intrinsic. You need a character to be able to min max and to be be able to truly team build and have a better experience on part 2. And you know what they do? This character reruns every time there's a new character on Honkai Impact 3rd. So basically, he's basically a forever banner, at least for now. And if they aren't able to convert enough players, you know what they will do? They will give the character for free. And this is how you do a soft reset of the game, allowing you to keep all your characters so you can still progress in the game, but you just can't progress as efficiently. And to be able to progress as efficiently, you're gonna need that character. Right? Let me read you guys again. I thought they already did that though. What do you mean, Steph? Sorry, I've talked way too much. What did they do? If you ever told me you were going to take all my characters away that I built at the end of the year, I would never touch your game again. I know. There's the difference between the Western and the Eastern player. The Western fan base, the casual Western player, is so disconnected from all of these meta gaming concepts, right? About the monetization structure, about how gaming in general works, about monetization, about gameplay, about continuity, about efficiency, and all of that they don't care. At least they don't care enough to revolt, right? Right? Wait, someone had said hi. But that's been around since Warframe Borderlands. What are the loot rolls? Sure, I know. You're talking about the First Descendant, right? I agree with you. But that was made whenever Gacha wasn't popular. Some other creator, some other game developer is going to take the Warframe concept, right? Because First Descendant is a copy of Warframe. We can all agree, right? And they're going to take this concept and Gacha-fy it, right? They will Gacha-fy it. Oops, Gacha-fy it. Eventually, that's going to happen. Yo, how are you, Nikkei? We're having some discussions about gaming genre, gaming cycles in general. It's a shame that you lost the beginning of this. This is going to become an amazing YouTube video, I can already tell. I guess we're not friends then? What do you mean, Sinxi? Come on. They do with power creep? Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about here. It isn't exactly power creep, but it is a game mechanic change, right? For example, imagine if Genshin made Hyper Bloom suck. Imagine if Genshin killed Hyper Bloom and decided to buff some other elemental interaction. You would have one character or another to be able to do the new interaction, but that would basically be a soft reset, right? Can you agree with me? The bunny suit incident wasn't even skins, it was a game ad. Oh, so sorry, it was for even less. Kitchen, whatever, has been replaced with chlorine, for example. Yes, 100%. The model basically started with Farmville. Yes, and I don't know if you know, Farmville is, believe it or not, a copy of an Asia game called, if I'm not wrong, it's called Happy Farm, which is Asian. And Farmville is just a Western version of it. Right? Isn't that interesting? Isn't it cool? So we need to be looking at Asian games and copying them? Kinda, because that's what they're doing, right? What Asians, especially China, is doing right now is looking at us, the Western, and they look, these guys spent 20 years in R&D, so research and development. Plus, they launched 3, 4, 5 different titles until they were able to create a new genre. And you know what they do? Before the game has even 1, 2 years old, before the game reaches the apex, the climax of it, they will create their own version. Right? That's what they are doing right now. And we, Westerners, as we have some things that deteriorates, that push development behind. The problem with Western development is something called, hold on. The problem with Western development is something called morals and copyrights, right? Which isn't a problem in China. Chinese companies can't copy can't do a face copy, an exact copy of other Chinese games, but they can do copies from Western games, and they don't face any problem from doing it. Any problem, right? So that's why now Asian games are advancing while Western games are stuck. Let's see. Let me show you something. Let me open my Twitch. Let me browse here. So let's go. High to low, right? RP, competitive, 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 casual, competitive, competitive. Whoops, sorry. Fucking hell. There we go. Competitive, casual, and a lot of quotes. What I mean from casual is there's no competition. Casual, kind of casual. Asian game, kind of casual. Fucking casino, who cares? Casual, competition, competition. Casual, 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 casual. This is probably just people restreaming the Olympics. Casual, casual, casual. Asian game, Asian game, Asian game, Asian game. New game. That's why it's here. I never heard of it. I think it's a copy of D&D, right? Which is also an Asian game. Game as a service. Last cycle. Casual, in a way. Casual. Asian game. No, I still haven't done my shoe runs today. We basically didn't do anything. I've only did like one thing on wuwa, and then we started talking, and I kind of lost the plot, if I'm being honest. So we're still going to do the shoe runs. Dungeon Board is the copy of Darker Darker. Okay, so it is in a way an Asian game, right? Because Darker Darker is Asian, right? So do you notice something here? If you remove all of the competitive games, do you guys notice that at least 50% of those games are Asians? Are Asian developer? I could even go and do a stretch and say that these games are now Asian because Tencent owns Riot, but I'm not gonna do this because their studios in California. The developers are still Americans, so they are, and most of it is still Western, right? But do you guys get what I mean? If you were looking at this 3 to 5 years ago, there would only be one Asian game here, and it would be Genshin. Right? Do you guys agree with me? So do you guys notice the tendency, the graphic or the information or what the gaming is slowly becoming? It's slowly becoming an Asian focused market. Do you know why? This company did layoffs. This company did layoffs. This company, which is Microsoft, did layoffs. This company did layoffs. This company did layoffs. This one didn't, but it's a super small company. This one did layoffs. This one is an Asian, didn't do layoffs. This one did layoffs. This one did layoffs. This one is a small company. This one did layoffs, right? This one is an Asian, didn't do layoffs. This one is an Asian, didn't do layoffs. This one is an Asian, they hired. This one is an Asian, they hired. Why are the Asian companies hiring and why are the Western companies doing layoffs? Why? Because the Western market is bloated with things gamers don't care. For example, RTX. For example, high fidelity graphics. For example, DEI. Right? That's workers' rights in a lot of cases and oversaturation of repetitive concepts. Exactly. Do you know why? Because Western companies are aiming for safe investments. Why? Because gaming isn't anymore a creative field, it become a business model. But because they are trying safe investments, they still haven't realized that gacha is one of the safest investments there is. Higher return to risks/expenses. Right? Until someone creates a new monetization theory and a new game genre, this is going to remain true. Why do you think we see so many new gachas being launched? Smaller gachas, right? And let me ask you, sure, most of them do go end of service fast, right? We saw that happen a lot last year. A bunch of gachas launched, and in one, there was a gacha that went end of service after a week. But I can guarantee you that after the week, they mostly made their investment back. The same way the ZZZ not only made their investment back, but they are profitable, right? They are profitable in 1 month, right? While games, Western games, for example, Suicide Squad failed after 1 week, even less than a week, with no return. Right? Gacha equals an infinite money glitch for now, until it becomes saturated. Because it will. But it knows how to marketing sales. I agree. I totally agree. They dominate this genre. They know exactly how this genre works, how the players of this genre behave, and what they want, even if they don't say it or even themselves don't know yet. But who knows, right? Kuro Games is starting to know, right? The developer TOF is starting to know. That's why they're doing NTE, right? That's why they're developing NTE. Because they know this shit is an infinite money glitch, just like y'all said. And if they try hard enough, they will be able to eventually hit the jackpot. And whenever they hit the jackpot, they can do the same thing as Hoyo, which is called the Hoyo verse for a reason, right? They already did a open world exploration game, which is Genshin. They already have 2 action based games, which is Honkai Impact 3rd and ZZZ. ZZZ is just a refreshed version, a newer version, cleaner, with everything that they learned from their past games imbued into ZZZ. They already done a strategy game, which is HSR. Now they're doing an Animal Crossing game, which is the most casual friendly and also female friendly of game genres in general, right? And it's also a gacha. And after that, what are they trying to do? What is their big move after the Animal Crossing game? Y'all know. It's called an MMO, which will be their biggest bet yet. Right? And which will be the make it or break it of Hoyo. Because if they manage to be the first company on this new decade since 2004, I know that it is a dead genre. I know. But that's the game that they're going to do after Animal Crossing. There has been speculations about it for years. Hoyo is starting to hire MMO developers. And if they are, and that's a big if, take in consideration that is a huge if, but if they are the first company on the 2020X, right, on the 2020 decade, to be able to hit an MMO to the masses, they will stop being a top 10 company and they will become a top 5 company and the whole world, right? And that's their play. They will create a gacha of every gaming genre there is. Eventually, I don't think it will be Hoyo, but eventually there will be a good. I don't think it's going to be Hoyo because of the fact that they cater too much into the casual players. But eventually there will be a good FPS gacha. Somehow they will do it. Somehow. Nikke tried and it got close. Right? Look at how much money Nikke did with the global player base. We saw it on the video today. Right? On the charts, the Sensor Tower charts. Nikke is doing money and it isn't even a proper game. It isn't even a proper FPS. There's autoplay. Imagine whenever someone unlocks the ability of getting all the FPS players into the gacha monetization scheme. CS already does it, in a way, right? EA tried, but we all know that EA doesn't create. EA just copies. And that's the problem, right? EA will only be able to do a good FPS gacha whenever there is already a good FPS gacha. It doesn't want to make another open world because it's really space hungry. Mobile PC, that's why HSR and CCC are the successor of Genshin. Less hassle world exploration. Most casual players are lazy. I disagree. You know why? Because most casuals get home for their work. They don't watch Twitch. They don't watch YouTube. They don't go on Twitter to talk about the game. They aren't you. They aren't me. They aren't none of us. And you know what they do? They just log into the game and walk around the map. They just walk around the map. Kill some heli churros or whatever and call it a day. Maybe do one side quest or another. Talk with some NPCs. Enjoy the background, the places, the view, and they log off. Right? They don't have any rush to do the dailies. They don't have any rush to do the endgame content. Right? They don't need challenging combat. They don't need any of these features. Yeah, exactly. They go mint picking. Why do you think that became the biggest insult for Genshin players? Because 80% of the player base, actually, let me talk real numbers, 50 to 60% of the player base who isn't on YouTube, who isn't on Twitch, who isn't on Twitter, who isn't on Reddit, log into the game, pick up some herbs, kill some mobs, get some chests, maybe do 1 or 2 quests, maybe do the daily, and they log off. And they don't talk about the game, they don't research about the game, they don't do anything. They just enjoy it for what it is. And we will never be in touch with them. Me, you who are watching my live on YouTube, you who are here on Twitch, you that watch my YouTube videos, you'll never be in touch with them. Never. Right? Never. And that's my theory on gaming. That's why I'm now creating content on Gacha. Not only because I enjoy it, because again, I am a gameplay enjoyer. So for me, a game has to have meaningful and fun gameplay. That's why I don't play HSR. That's why I don't play Blue Archive. I mean, I don't play Blue Archive because of the lollies, but that's why I don't play Blue Archive. That's why I didn't play, for now, the Sword of Conlaria or whatever that came out yesterday. And that's why I'm now creating content of Gacha. Because I noticed Gacha a gacha is a monetization scheme before being a gaming genre, right? We all agree this. It is actually a monetization scheme, not really a gaming genre. But still, gacha is going to become so intertwined with gaming for at least the next 4 years, 3 to 4 years, that it is worth it investing into it as a content creator. You know why? Because gachas will become more and more of a full game with combat, with puzzles. Eventually, there will be a gacha strategy game that doesn't have auto combat, or at least has content that demands you to play. Right? I know HSR has a bit, but it isn't enough for me as of now. Right? Maybe in the future. But yeah. And whenever this genre releases, this magical genre that will also be casual friendly and will also tap into the mobile audience, right? And will be a global success, I will also play it. And maybe it won't have gacha monetization anymore. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. But I'll also play that shit. Because this is going to be the big new wave, just like gacha is now. Just like Mr. Pokey came out of nowhere on a single year of grinding because of HSR, because no big Genshin creator was willing to give HSR a fair shot and make it big and make it grow. I'm doing the same with ZZZ. Right? And someone will do that to the Animal Crossing game from Hoyo. Right? And someone will do that to the MMO with Hoyo. But eventually, this big box is going to get filled. And we will have a true new breakthrough of gaming again. And everyone will want to play it. Just like a lot of people wanted to play MMOs back in the day. Just like a lot of people played MOBAs while I was in high school. Just like a lot of people played Fortnite while I was in college. Just like a lot of people play gaming as a service on the West. And just like all the weebs play gacha now. Right? Just tuning in. This looks like some serial killer graphics. I know, dude. I look like the meme of the guy on the fucking board, and there's a bunch of connections and pictures of people. I know. I was always horrible with organization, especially on expressing myself. But that's the theory on gaming, right? This is the big theory of gaming. This is it. Let me see. And sure, you can argue that space on phones is a problem, sure. But eventually, 256 gigs will become the norm on phones, and then 512 will become the norm, even on the cheaper ones, and then 1 terabyte will become the norm. And not only that, but the games will be hosted, even their assets will be hosted on the cloud. And whenever they're hosted on the cloud, just like MiHoyo is already investing on their cloud service, you won't even have to download the game. Your phone will only be a display. What the fuck's going on with my paint, dude? It will only be a display, right? And an input. In fucking hell, I can spell fucking second language, and will also become an input machine. Right? Can y'all agree with me? This is the power of cloud. If that's why MiHoyo is investing on cloud gaming. Because if the phones don't get a bigger storage to be able to have at the same time Genshin, HSR, ZZZ, Animal Crossing, and their MMO, I'm talking long term here, right? I'm talking 5 years plus. A 5-year plus plan. If the phones don't have enough storage, neither enough processing power, right? Neither processing power to be able to deal with it, then their investment on cloud is going to pay up. Because then they will be able to develop whatever they want and every machine on the planet will be able to run it. And then you will just get your phone, right? You'll plug a controller on it, and you will game whatever it is, right? And the technology is going to improve in 5 years, even the connection technology, right? Do you guys get it now? I'ma even save this, right? And if I'm right, we're going to talk this in a couple of years. Gacha plans and gaming future, right? And I'm gonna save here on my video folders. So, what do you guys think of my little trip into the future and into gaming? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? What do y'all think? And if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, follow me on my Twitch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.